The sun is shining on Activision Blizzard. I'm sorry, Steve Jelsey, that's a groaner, but it's a Friday. All right, fill us in on this deal with Vivendi getting out of Activision Blizzard. And the founder gets his whole company back, right?
Bobby Kotick, Activision CEO, is a deal maker. He's an entrepreneur. He gets to buy his company back from Vivendi and run it himself. It's a larger company. He did the deal in the first place to grow the company, but now he wants to do it on his own. He's got some interesting partners.
You've
Leonard
hung out
Green.
with the guy. Come on,
yes,
don't be shy.
I have spent time with him, and he's an entrepreneur. He's got a twinkle in the eye. Very, very personable. I enjoyed meeting him, and he's the kind of person who just has, as I said, has a twinkle in his eye. He always wants to do another deal. He's got maybe something up his sleeve, always cooking. Vivendi, I don't know, they get a lot of cash.
Right.
And maybe they see the video business is not as hot as it was, or maybe they want to put their money someplace else to do another acquisition. I don't know what happened.
Well, they own Universal Music, and it looks like they're going to consolidate in terms of content, entertainment content. Although this is content. What,
right.
You know, these video games that we have behind us. But so, would you get in on the stock for Activision Blizzard? What do you think?
Well, if you're thinking that video games are going to continue to grow, I mean, Activision is
my
a consolidator.
My 6-year-old nephew does. So.
And they have I don't play these games, but Call of Duty and World of Warcraft, they have to come up with another hit, so the pressure's on them. But right now, at least maybe they have a little bit more maneuverability. They can be a little bit more nimble. And so, it might be a possible thing to think about if you think the video game industry is going to be on the rise along. The overall economy is on the rise, too. So video games will probably go up with that, too, maybe.
But we're talking about this because this is a big deal, right? It's an over $8 billion deal.
It's a big deal, yes. It's an extremely interesting deal. And, I start thinking, what's Bobby Kotick going to do next? I mean, but this has to close. So, we always think about the next thing. This thing hasn't even closed yet. It's just freshly out there. So we don't really know. But he's going to keep... He's got more gas left in the tank. He's going to keep doing deals, and maybe he'll get even bigger. He'll buy somebody else.
And you're off now to play Call of Duty with Bobby Kotick. Don't deny it. All right, Steve Jelsey, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Let's look at some stocks that are on the move, starting with Starbucks, up about 7% today. And today, the stock hit an all-time high of $73.52. Based on it raised its full-year forecast, strong profit and jump in same-store sales. CEO Howard Schultz was on CNBC this morning, and you know what? He said, I'm not losing any sleep over Dunkin' Donuts, even though Dunkin' Donuts said that they're going to open some stores in Southern California. Starbucks is going to open these Teavana stores. They just bought that brand, and they're going to diversify into more brands, he says, but coffee is still the name of the game at Starbucks. Not losing sleep over Dunkin' Donuts, and that's not because he had a double macchiato. Thank you very much. Moving on to Expedia, down nearly 25% today. Yesterday we saw really strong results from TripAdvisor, but the online travel space is very, very crowded. Expedia is saying its quarterly profit fell short of estimates. Hotwire.com, which it owns, is part of the problem here. They've had trouble giving deals on rental cars and you can take a look there at some of the other travel stocks. Orbitz and Priceline is down, although Priceline has been giving Expedia a run for its money, heavily advertising William Shatner. Blame William Shatner. He's there for Priceline, giving Expedia a run for its money there, although we did see the stock down there. Finally, Outer Wall. They're down about 12.5% today. Now, this is the company formerly known as Coinstar, operator of those Redbox video rental kiosks. They operate the kiosks themselves. You can go in there and get a video for $1. Well, we all know how the video business is doing, and we all know that even though they have a stake in the streaming business with Verizon, part of that Redbox Verizon deal, Netflix, of course, giving folks a run for their money. So, again, a very competitive space. And Outer Wall today is down 12.5%. All right, I'm going to move now. I'm going to talk to Jonathan Spicer. He covers the Fed here at Reuters. So we have the meeting coming up, FOMC meeting coming up, 20th and 21st. Give us a preview here. What do we expect?
Well, you almost forget there's a meeting coming up with all, with all the chatter about who's going to be the next chairman.
Right.
But yes, there's a meeting. It's a quiet one because there's no press conference. Bernanke's not going to face the press. They're not going to give forecasts. So it will probably be a pretty sedate affair. No one on the street is expecting, this tapering of QE to come until September or even later. So, maybe a few little tweaks to the statement.
I was going to say, anything about moving that 6.5% unemployment rate,
well,
do you think?
this is, if, into the weeds, there's a little bit of talk about possibly changing the forward guidance. And this would be for low interest rates and for the bond buying. So we might see some sort of nips and tucks in the statement that might get the bond market moving a little bit next week. But you know, as I say, as you say, you know, all the talk is about who will be the next chairman.
So let's get to that. Janet Yellen and Larry Summers here. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is really sort of continuity versus clubbiness, right? I mean, we put it that way in terms of, I mean, there's gender issues here, there's his connections to current administrative officials. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I guess that's one way to put it. I mean, certainly Yellen, you know, let's just say, you know, she has been the front runner from the get-go. You know, she's the vice chair right now. Great policy record, almost groomed perfectly for this job. You know, she would continue on Bernanke's sort of policy style, right?
Yeah.
She believes in QE. She would keep fighting unemployment. Larry Summers, I mean, you know, well, you know, you can just go on and on about Larry Summers, you know, crisis management guy, Treasury Secretary under Clinton, you know, brash leader with a feel for markets, but, you know, a lot of bank deregulation in his history, you know, some unfortunate comments about women and aptitude around science and math, which sort of linger over him. So, yeah, but he does have the connections, as you say, in the White House. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Tough to say.
What do you think, though, in terms of Democrats about him? You touched on this potentially being too soft on the banks.
Yeah, I think you know, obviously any nominee that Obama puts forward will have to be confirmed by the Senate, and if he loses votes by the Democrats, it will be because of his, you know, his role in sort of dismantling Glass-Steagall, which of course separated commercial banking from investment banking, and led, as many suggest, to the financial crisis that we had.
All right, Jonathan Spicer, thanks for your insight.
My pleasure.
That does it for us here at Trading at Noon. Remember to follow us on Twitter. That is at Reuters Insider, and get more great videos, Reuters.com/ReutersTV. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here Monday. I'm Lisa Bernhard. This is Reuters.